Okay, the Proton X Watch, it lets you pre-start the car and pre-cool the car for just a bit before you start your journey. This is Caricarz.com, and in today's short video we are revisiting the Proton X50 to find out what this rather underrated segment fighter still has to offer you today. Now, the Proton X50 has been in the market for quite some time now, and it effectively hasn't changed since it first debuted. But I think a lot of us can agree that as far as styling is concerned, the X50 hasn't aged too badly. It still looks rather handsome and looks rather good, even against some of its updated segment competitors today. Now, that argument about styling is especially true when you inspect the X50 in range-topping flagship form in detail, because you'll note that there's some very nice touches like the snazzy alloy wheels, a full-blown aero kit, two-tone paint job, as well as some nice high-tech touches like the presence of full LED lighting front and aft. Overall, there's very little to complain with the way the X50 looks, and perhaps that is the same case with the cabin. Now, the same can be said about how things look and feel on the inside with the X50's cabin, because as you can see in this case of this range-topping flagship variant, it already feels and looks nice thanks to the two-tone leather upholstery in the seats and the dash. But more importantly, check out all these trim panels and plastic panels in the dash. They have held up against the test of time rather well, and they still look rather good despite the fact that it is largely made of plastic, like this bit in the dash, which is my favorite. Although it looks like brushed aluminium, it's actually plastic. But otherwise, execution is rather decent and it just grows on you over time. Not only posh and comfortable, the X50's cabin has proven to be very, very practical and very, very high-tech as well, more so in this flagship variant. We'll get to the high-tech bits in a bit, but I just want to show you some of the very nice practical bits, like the number of cup holders present. There's enough of which here to cover long or short drives. There's even very nifty card slots to hold your parking card or touch and go card right here up front in the dash, as well as right here next to the gear lever. And there's even a very nice and nifty phone holder slot right here. So all of this just makes daily driving the X50 a lot nicer and a lot easier too. And as far as tech is concerned, well, in this flagship variant, it comes fully loaded with quite a lot of bells and whistles. But the most important bit for drivers and passengers is right here, these two screens. There's one fully digital driver instrument display, very interactive and very customizable as well. And right here in the center, a center infotainment touchscreen, which in our case runs the latest Atlas OS from Acotec, which has proven to be a lot smoother, somewhat quicker, and more importantly, it comes with a much more effective navigation system. But there's more. Now, with the latest version of the Atlas OS from Acotec in the infotainment mentioned earlier, you're now able to pair your Proton X50 with the new Proton X Watch, also developed by Acotec. The Proton X Watch developed by Acotec doesn't just feature all the usual fitness tracking stuff, it also has dedicated features related to the car, such as basic telematics, as well as remote functions such as remote starting, remote window opening, remote trunk unlocking. But my favorite feature, which is very nifty if you find yourself unable to locate the car in a crowded parking lot, is the horn and lights function. Okay, the Proton X Watch is not a complete replacement to the key fob, which already has a shared function, which is the remote ignition, but it's just a lot easier to access it on your wrist than having to rummage through your pocket or your bag for it. And in regards to the remote start function, I will argue it is perhaps the most niftiest feature of this watch, because it lets you pre-start the car and pre-cool the car for just a bit before you start your journey. And that's everything we can tell you about the Proton X50 flagship variant as featured here upon revisiting it, which is priced at 113,300 ringgit before on-road costs. Now, I don't need to tell you that figure, with what it delivers, especially on the tech front, makes this quite the bargain in segment. Speaking of tech, if you like the idea of having your X50 paired with a dedicated smartwatch? Well, the Proton X Watch by Acotec is priced at 1,499 ringgit and it's available to all Proton dealerships as well as Acotec's newly opened DX Experience Center at Quill City Mall. Well, what do you think of the Proton X50, especially now that you know it has a dedicated smartwatch for it? Hit the comments below with your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, visit caricarz.com/news for more.
Save more safe.
Caricarz.